keep going back to the same things. Ryan being as quiet as he has been for this long is very weird. It's very sus.
Oh, and so Ryan hasn't said shit yet. He hasn't. So
He
he
hasn't been
still
live.
has.
He hasn't said nothing.
Interesting.
It was weird that there was no mention of the baby in the divorce decree. That's weird.
Well, I think.
Oh shit! See, I don't know. So they finally got their divorce.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
in
they are
Louisiana you don't
divorced.
say anything till after the baby's born.
A month right after she left, Gypsy texted me a bunch of pregnancy tests and said she was pregnant. Okay, well, who's the father? And it could have been me or Ken at that point. So she didn't know. She was like, I don't know.
Today, the conversation around Ryan Anderson and Gypsy Rose Blanchard has shifted dramatically. What was once a peripheral figure in Gypsy's story has now become a focal point of speculation and intrigue. In the wake of Gypsy's surprise announcement about the birth of her child, Ryan's silence has raised more questions than answers. Why hasn't he spoken up? What does his absence mean for this unfolding narrative? And what role, if any, does he play in the latest chapter of Gypsy's controversial life? This analysis dives deep into the current events surrounding Ryan Anderson. We'll explore the possible reasons behind his silence, the theories circulating online, and how his absence adds yet another layer of complexity to Gypsy's story. Stay with us as we unravel the mystery. Ryan Anderson's absence in the ongoing saga is one of the most puzzling elements of Gypsy Rose's latest chapter. The birth of her child allegedly on December 28th and the surrounding drama have captured widespread attention, yet Ryan has remained completely silent, neither confirming nor denying his involvement in any part of this story. His silence has not gone unnoticed by those following the story, with many raising questions about his motivations and possible involvement. The revelation that Gypsy had given birth was strategically announced on New Year's Day, a timing many believe was chosen for maximum publicity.
Now that Gypsy Rose Blanchard had her baby pretty early, are we not thinking that maybe those paternity test results were in fact fake? Because the math ain't mathin'. Does this mean that Rai maybe is a daddy after all? I know that people recently were speculating that Gypsy was at Ryan's house due to the picture she posted and it looked like it was his headboard behind her. Maybe that's why she was there, because maybe he is the daddy. All I know is the date that she gave for the conception and the date that she gave birth are not matching up, unless she had like some superhuman pregnancy that doesn't line up with a regular pregnancy timeline. And also, why is Ryan being so quiet right now? It's kind of sus. He was going live like at least once a week, if not more, and ever since they finalized their divorce, we haven't seen or heard anything from him. It's kind of odd.
However, what's striking is that Ryan's name has not been mentioned once. With speculation about the baby's paternity running rampant, his silence has only fueled the rumors. During a live discussion, Nina expressed her confusion. Ryan hasn't said a word. It's so weird. Why is he this quiet? It's almost like he's trying to distance himself from everything.
Keep going back to the same things. Ryan being as quiet as he has been for this long is very weird. It's very sus.
Oh, and so Ryan hasn't said shit yet. He hasn't. So he still has.
He hasn't said nothing.
Interesting.
It was weird that there was no mention of the baby in the divorce decree. That's weird.
Well, I think.
Oh shit! See, I don't know. So they finally got their divorce.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
in Louisiana
they are
you
divorced.
don't say anything till after the baby's born.
Injustice for All added, if the timeline suggests he could be connected to this child, why hasn't he made a statement? Even if he's not involved, you'd think he would want to clear the air. This silence has left others questioning whether Ryan's lack of communication is a calculated move or if he is genuinely uninvolved. As Nina noted, even if he's not involved, his silence doesn't help. It just makes everything look more suspicious.
She is high risk just because of her health history, how convoluted it is, and she's high risk. So when you have a high risk pregnancy, typically what OBGYNs want to do is not have the person go into labor. They basically want to schedule a C-section so they can control that environment as much as they can to put less stress on the baby and less stress on the mother. Right. Especially now if that baby's got that microdeletion. The baby looked very small. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know if the baby has it or not. I have no idea. No idea. But if the baby does, that's another reason why they would plan a C-section.
Another panelist speculated on why Ryan might be staying quiet. Maybe he's waiting for something, legal confirmation, or just trying to stay out of Gypsy's chaos. But this silence, it's almost too loud to ignore. Adding to the complexity is the timeline itself. Many in the discussion pointed out how the dates align with the period when Ryan and Gypsy were still allegedly connected.
The birth date, she's wanting to make it sound like it's a New Year's baby, but it's not. Even if I don't even know if I believe that the baby was born on the 28th of this month. I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Wasn't the 28th the day she got out of jail?
Yes. They even mentioned that in the article. So it's the 1 year anniversary of her release from prison. Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely had. She either A is lying about that or B had a C-section, because there's no way she just gave birth naturally on that day. I mean, what are the odds?
Yeah.
This, combined with his silence, raises the stakes for what could come next in this tangled story. The timing of Gypsy's pregnancy raises significant questions about Ryan's potential involvement. If the baby's conception date falls in March 2024, as suggested by the alleged due date of January 22nd, 2025, it overlaps with a period when Ryan and Gypsy were still finalizing their divorce. This overlap has left many questioning what Ryan knew and when he knew it. During a live discussion, Nina shared her perspective, saying, "The timing is strange. If the baby was conceived around the time Ryan and Gypsy were still technically married, it leaves a lot of room for speculation. If he is the father, why hasn't he stepped up? And if he's not, why hasn't he said so?"
I think she had it back around the time with the book signing, because the online book signing, if you remember, she looked like she had been through the trenches in that online book signing. Yeah. She looked like somebody that had been up with a kid all night.
Yeah.
And she looked like that also when she did that online interview. Not that online interview, the interview with that lady.
Yeah.
And she sat down. But she had been looking like, I think I remember even saying in the video, like, she looks like she's been pulling out her hair. I don't truly think.
I'm sorry.
I don't truly think she had that baby on the 28th, because, like you said, the whole hacker thing, having to deal with that, going back and forth with TikTok, checking your notifications and your emails, and that's a lot to be dealing with. Would you give a damn about your TikTok account if you just gave birth? No.
This statement captured the broader confusion surrounding the situation. Adding to the mystery, the divorce document reportedly made no mention of a child. Injustice for All highlighted the significance of this omission. It's odd that the baby wasn't brought up at all in the divorce proceedings. If Ryan had any knowledge of the pregnancy, you'd think it would have been addressed legally. The fact that it's not mentioned raises a lot of questions about whether he even knew. Other panelists speculated about Gypsy's motivations. One participant suggested, "It's possible Gypsy hid the pregnancy from Ryan altogether. If he didn't know, it explains his silence now. But if he did know, why hasn't he addressed it publicly? This whole situation is messy." Nina further emphasized the odd timing of the pregnancy. The baby's conception date doesn't just overlap with their marriage timeline. It's right in the middle of it. That makes this so much harder to ignore.
I don't know if it's for paternity or what. I don't know. But I do know that he has an attorney and she has an attorney. And so what's so funny is I found this out days ago. Right? But I didn't want to say anything because I was like, well, why would he have an attorney already? And why would she have an attorney? And why would they be trying to figure out the logistics of everything if the baby's not here yet?
Right. Just real quick, some people had a question about the wristband.
Adding more weight to the discussion, another panelist remarked, "When you look at how everything lines up, it's hard to not wonder if there is more to this story. Ryan's silence only deepens the mystery." This combination of factors, the lack of legal documentation, the suspicious timing, and Ryan's continued silence leaves room for endless theories. One thing remains certain: the timeline of events adds significant weight to the growing intrigue surrounding this case. While Ryan's silence is glaring, Gypsy's actions have been anything but quiet. From the hacking incident to her strategically timed announcement, many believe Gypsy has been orchestrating distractions to control the narrative. The sequence of events leading up to and surrounding the announcement of her baby's birth has drawn sharp criticism and intense speculation. Nina exposed her doubts during a panel discussion. The hacking thing feels so convenient. Gypsy was supposedly in labor on the 28th, but she was also clapping back in the comments and setting up new TikTok accounts? It doesn't add up. Injustice for All echoed these concerns. How is it even possible? She's claiming she was in labor, but somehow she had the time and the energy to engage in this hacking drama? The whole thing seems staged.
So, okay, hypothetically, she gave birth on the 28th. That means that while she was in labor, she was at the same time creating a new TikTok account in the comments, clapping back with people, desperately emailing, TikTok and all this, trying to get her account back. What person does that when they're in labor? I guess Gypsy would, but none of it adds up to me. So I'm with you. I'm like, now I do wonder if I kind of lean towards this being a design distraction. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Another panelist took the skepticism further, adding, "It's almost like the whole hacking story was meant to divert attention from her being in the hospital. She has a history of misdirection. It wouldn't be surprising if this was part of her plan." The alleged hacking incident where Gypsy's TikTok account was reportedly taken over by a Turkish hacker occurred around the same time she claims to have been giving birth. Critics have labeled this coincidence as too convenient to be believable. As Nina bluntly stated, the timing is suspicious. First, she says her account is hacked. Then suddenly she's back, just in time to make this grand announcement about the baby. It feels orchestrated.
On the state of Missouri, whatever happens to that child, they need to be held accountable. We can't worry about something we can't control. The state of Missouri allowed her, after 8 years, after having her mother assassinated. Yeah. No, it's on the state of Missouri. They should have done the right thing instead of letting a monster like her out and allow her monster of a stepmom and her trashy ass dad to have responsibility for her and the child. And then dumbass Ken goes ahead and have a baby by her. It's on the state of Missouri. That's something that they need to be sued for. After whatever happens, they need to be accountable for that.
Adding to the intrigue, some panelists speculated that the entire hacking saga might have been fabricated. One observer pointed out, "The guy went live, sure, but the whole thing still felt off. Why was he speaking Turkish, showing signs in another country, and yet somehow it's still connected to Gypsy? It's just too much."
Much they made off of that. I don't know.
Quite a bit. Quite a fucking bit.
Probably. I'm not very, I don't know how TikTok works. I don't know how.
But it was just nonstop for hours. It was nonstop, like gift for hours and hours and hours,
Basically, all I know is that like roses or just like pennies not worth anything. That's pretty much all I know. But he was getting a lot of gifts and he was going wild. He was, he was living it up. But I don't know, man. Now you got people saying that there's people on Ken's side of the family that are Turkish and shit. So, great. Injustice for All is here. I'm glad he's here.
This elaborate distraction, if that's what it was, may have been a way to shift focus away from the hospital and the baby's early arrival. The timing and Gypsy's actions during this period continue to fuel doubts about her narrative. Speculation about Ryan's silence has led to several theories, each offering a different perspective on his absence. 1. Avoiding drama. Ryan may simply want to distance himself from Gypsy's controversies. His silence could be a deliberate choice to avoiding being dragged into the media frenzy. As Nina put it, "Honestly, if I were him, I wouldn't want to be in this mess either." But at the same time, his silence just makes things more confusing. 2. Legal constraints. There is speculation that Ryan might be under a legal agreement, such as a non-disclosure agreement preventing him from speaking out. Injustice for All remarked, "If there's something legal going on, it would explain the complete radio silence. Maybe he's being cautious or waiting for the dust to settle." 3. Emotional detachment. After a tumultuous relationship with Gypsy, Ryan may want nothing more than to move on. Engaging in the narrative, especially with a baby involved, could be emotionally taxing. One panelist noted, "This could just be Ryan's way of saying, I am done with this chapter of my life, but it's hard to tell." Unresolved paternity questions. If Ryan suspects he could be the father, he might be waiting for confirmation before making any public moves. Conversely, if he knows he's not the father, he might feel no obligation to address the rumors. Nina summed it up. If he thinks there's a chance he's the father, he's probably waiting for solid proof before he says anything. But if he's sure he's not, his silence is just his way of washing his hands of all this. This mix of theories highlights the complexity of Ryan's role or lack of thereof in the current drama surrounding Gypsy Rose. The public's reaction to Ryan's silence has been mixed. Some respect his decision to stay out of the chaos, while others find it suspicious. One viewer remarked, "Honestly, I respect Ryan for staying quiet. Gypsy's life is a circus, and I don't blame him for not wanting to be part of it." Another countered, "It's weird that Ryan isn't saying anything, even if he's not involved. You'd think he would want to make that clear. The silence only makes him look more suspicious." Ryan's silence, whether intentional or not, has kept him at the center of speculation, even as he remains absent from the public narrative. If Ryan is the father, his eventual involvement could have significant legal and emotional implications for the child. If he's not, his silence still shapes public perception of Gypsy's story. One panelist summarized, "Ryan's role in this is the missing piece of the puzzle. Whether he's connected to the baby or not, his silence adds a layer of mystery to an already complicated story. As the story continues to unfold, Ryan's next move, if he makes one, could change everything. Ryan Anderson's silence is more than just the absence of words. It's a statement in itself. In a narrative as chaotic as Gypsy Rose's, his quiet distance raises as many questions as it answers. Whether he's avoiding drama, bound by legal constraints, or simply uninterested, one thing is clear: his silence has not gone unnoticed. As this story develops, the world will be watching to see if Ryan steps into the spotlight or continue to let his silence speak for him. What do you think? Is Ryan hiding something, or is he just smart to stay out of the drama? Let us know your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates on the Gypsy Rose Blanchard saga and more.